I am Cynthia Lovely. I am the founder, visionary, and CEO of Shine. The theory is that vulnerability of being exploited can be alleviated when an individual has financial security and the ability to earn a living through purpose driven activities. So, a lot of what we focus on is equity, strength based assessments, skills alignment, and just that inherent potential and purpose that an individual has. We began in 2018, and we began with that core principle of being grassroots and focusing on asset based community development, or ABCD methodology. So we were doing skills assessments, looking at the community assets, figuring out what the community of survivors were interested in attaining for themselves. And then we developed and piloted and created programs around the feedback that they were providing on gaps in services or areas of needs that they had.
I found Shine after my initial exit. I was with one organization, and then they referred me to Elevate Academy, where I took a business class, and I thought that was really exciting. Kind of like lit me up and made me feel excited again, because you know sometimes it can get depressing, or like you're in healing and you're like, oh, what do I want to do next? So I already had a lot of entrepreneurship skills. I just didn't know how to like use that. I was really excited when I met Cynthia, just learning about business, and I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to have a business. So I came in like a 30-page business plan, and I was able to learn through the incubator so many skills and how to like refine it. And it's just been a really incredible journey being connected with Shine. There's a lot of like system intersections before trafficking, during trafficking, and after trafficking. So um a big piece of it is the economic piece, and I feel like that's not really talked about enough in the way of like what does it look like to heal that piece. Being able to open the business bank account, the day that that happened, it was just like that opened the floodgates for all of the other things to come through. Once that financial piece is there, it's like, okay, now I can go pitch, and now I can have like a functioning business. But to get there, I have to understand how business works, have the EIN, so like all these pieces. But I would say the financial piece lifted the depression pretty quickly. How do I move forward if I'm financially trapped? I have all the skills to do the things, but like where, so those financial services are definitely um therapy is always great, but you could go to therapy ongoing and your bills still aren't paid. So it's like there's something, the emotional side of that's good, but the financial piece has really been um the biggest one.
Barriers, number one, and trust building and community and connection, right?
Mhm.
And so those are essential in any city. What we've kind of figured out along this journey in the last 5 to 6 years is that there's a continuum of care model. And that looks really interesting to me as somebody who likes to work in collaboration and to see the success. And for us, success is non recidivism. So we're looking at and asking our members, have they had to exchange sex for money? 100%. None of ours have to this day. So that to me is success. With Shine, there is this partnership with Empower Her that allows us to work together to provide that support. Um, and then in addition to that, there's also sort of that next phase where like maybe they want some additional coaching. They can go to From Pain to Purpose and get that coaching while working with these other programs, or maybe they want to deepen their understanding of digital marketing, and they can go to the Queens of Digital Marketing and kind of take it a bit further. And then our other partnership is with My Create now. And My Create does all of the EINs and the legal formation and the intellectual property protection and the contract negotiations and all of these things that really help that individual to have long-term financial stability. We don't have an end date to Shine support.
Mhm.
Very intentionally. This is not a 9-month or an 18-month or a 24-month program. This is people will go out and live life and come back and go out and live, or they access the coaching services and the connections and the support as needed. So when they're ready, they get to be the leaders and the designers of their timeline, as opposed to us trying to kind of like fit them into our time restrictions and create outcomes based on what needs to be done in 9 months, because again, everybody's different, and some people, they stay and they're very engaged all the time, and others come and go, and then new people are coming in, and it's just more fluid. And I think it's nice to have sort of that anchor agency that provides that ongoing, unconditional, long-term support.
I understood business from, it's a transferable skill because in the life, like you're doing business, you're doing transactions. I just didn't know the words for what these systems were called. So I just kept showing up, and we would have, different things we had to do for our businesses. So doing little things like getting the EIN was like, like I'm a CEO. Like,
'Cause a lot of people have come to Shine and mentioned their distrust in the system, the re-exploitations that they've experienced, the feeling disempowered, not listened to, not included in decision making. Like, and then I sound like I'm just like utopia, and it's like this has got to be not true. So I don't know. It's just it takes time, right? It takes that consistency and steadfastness of like continually showing up in
Mhm.
an unbiased, non-judgmental way, offering support, and really asking the individual, what do you need? How can I support you? And then providing that support, not thinking that I have the answer for that for them. And that probably is what builds confidence. And I tend to stay away from empower, and I'll tell you why. Empower entails that I have done something to give them that power, but in fact, they're the ones that are showing up. And I just think it's so important to recognize that Jasmine's the one who got up and out of bed. Jasmine's the one who signed up for the class. Jasmine's the one who logged on to the Zoom today. She gets to own that. I didn't empower her to do it. I provided an opportunity.
and when you're going from, I will always have money, I will never not eat, I will never not have housing, I will always be okay. And then when you leave, you're risking, I'm probably not going to be okay. If you have to stay in a shelter, like, it's not a good environment. So you're constantly doing this, like, risk assessment or like risk man, but all the time. So it's like coming out of it, that was a huge piece, was learning like you have to be committed for a long time for business. It's not just
Mhm.
quick. I can't just file my LLC and be a millionaire. That's crazy. Like, I was like thinking that way. There's no consequence or punishment for not showing up to a class, or not doing. If you change your mind through Shine, it's okay. It's not like we're not going to give you this anymore because you changed your plan, or we need you to do this this way, and if you don't, then you don't get the thing. So it doesn't feel forced ever. It's like I can just keep changing what I wanna do, which I've done many times.
It sounds like there is a piece of, like you mentioned, Cynthia, community, and maybe that's what, one of there's a theory on evolutionary theory. Survival is like we need that community, just it's innate, we all need that, right? And that community at the same time provides an identity. And I'm just wondering if, you know, and that's part of some literature. There was a couple of articles as I was reading that talked about that community and that desire of having this identity, right? Like how you are known as someone that shows up. And I think kind of it just reinforces itself when you guys come together. And so it sounds like there is a component of community that it's so essential in this process, and that Shine has been able to build that trust, which is part of that community, right? Like you have a group of people that you trust, and it's so uh, like needed we need that trust. We need to have people that we can trust in our circles. So that's beautiful.
We focus on asset-based community development. And so even assessing like where are the gaps is a deficit-based problem-solving methodology. The space that Shine works in is in a co-creative, co-owner, solution-oriented connection and inclusion, right? We're using the assets that are based within the survivor community. So if we could just all start there, and see the incredible assets that this community has. Who have we already cultivated in our community as natural leaders? You know, how can we come together in collaboration with them to implement a more strategic approach? Purpose-driven career training is important, not just placing people in jobs, but that it is something that aligns with them, that they're excited about and want to show up for. I think for policies, I'd like to see thriving wages, so that we are overly compensating individuals when they speak at our events or when they are a part of our programs. I think that we have a grand opportunity with this particular group of individuals to bring to light some new solutions.